Greetings. It's Monday, July the 28th, 2025. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Monday Morning Report. The ghost of Epstein continues to haunt everyone, especially President Donald Trump. But if you notice, people are getting tired of it. Less and less it's being covered in the media, even the alternative media. Well, that's the way those things go, especially in summer when people are distracted and, well, let's face it, the average person has a very short attention span these days. And that is what the people in power always count on that enables them to get away with so much. Just saying. But this case is not dead, and there is a fly in the elite's ointment. Ghislaine Maxwell, yes, her again. She has met with representatives of the Justice Department, and it's being reported has been granted limited immunity for her cooperation, whatever that means. And as I've said earlier, she's going to do everything in her power to get out of prison. And if anyone knows where all the bodies are buried, so to speak, perhaps real ones as well, it's her. I hope security at her prison is better than what it was for the late Mr. Epstein in New York. The lady has clearly covered for people, took the fall, which is why she was the only one convicted. But incarceration has a way of changing people and hardening them and realizing that the people they're protecting are not worth it. Meanwhile, the allegations of treason-like charges against members of the former Obama administration over the fake Russian dossier and related falsehoods pertaining to the Trump administration, falsehoods that ruined much of the first Trump presidency, well, they still have a lot of traction. The system has turned on its own. And when that happens, there's very little that can be done to stop it. Kind of like an old movie from the 50s where if you press the wrong thing inside an ancient temple, you hear ancient wheels turning, sand pouring, and people end up very, very destroyed. Well, that's sort of what you're seeing here now. The U.S. government's like that. Expect this situation to heat up and become more and more aggressive. We'll know things are entering a more serious phase when you hear in various news sources about the former president, Secretary of State, CIA chief, and others lawyering up. Look for that phrase, lawyering up. When you hear that, the game is on. Now, on the more positive side of things, the Trump administration is still making progress on much of what it promised. In the Trade Department, for example, a deal was just announced with the European Union. And it's a pretty good deal for the United States and, to an extent, the Europeans as well. A 15% tariff on most European imports. Now, that was a lot more than the EU wanted, of course. But that will result in a lot of revenue for the federal government. The EU will buy $750 billion in U.S. energy products, which is pretty much oil and gas, and another $750 billion in what is described as investment in the United States by the European Union. Whatever that means. Now, it looks pretty good. We'll see how it will come out in the wash, to use another notorious American idiom. No word on American idioms being taxed, but you never know with the EU. And on the promises kept front, federal law enforcement continues to pursue bad guys, which is what it's there for. ICE is continuing its reign of terror on illegal invaders throughout the country, and good for them in that department. And although some people are still protesting the enforcement of federal laws designed to keep our country safe that date back literally centuries, they are becoming fewer and fewer in number. You might have noticed that with some of the so-called protests that are being reported. These people have apparently decided to move on to more worthless causes, Probably because getting arrested and prosecuted by the feds for various things that could land them in prison for a while, well, that's not as attractive as it used to be. Some of those people that were throwing rocks at cars driven by federal law enforcement, well, they're heading to prison for a very long, long time in some cases. Yeah, you kind of wonder what's going through these people's heads, and then you realize not much. It's not getting a lot of publicity, but the Justice Department has been shutting down child porn and trafficking internet sites on what is termed the dark web. That's the part of the internet that likes to remain hidden from search engines, but it is very real and, quite frankly, pretty awful. Some reports that these sites were frequented by upwards of 120,000 people, 120,000 members. Yeah. That number's right. The number given is 120,000. No word on how investigations into identifying those people might be, but if even a fraction of them were caught, new prisons would have to be constructed to house them all. Some days it's hard to imagine such people exist, or that you could be passing them as you walk down the street on a typical summer day. Two icons of the older generation passed away in quick succession over the previous week. Rock legend Ozzy Osbourne, made infamous for his interaction with a bat while on stage some years ago, and Hulk Hogan, the poster child of the traditional all-American toxic male entertainer with a heart of gold. Lots of things are being written about those two gentlemen, so no need for obituaries here. But the sad thing is, they don't make them like Ozzy and Hulk anymore. They both knew their place in society and were there to make our lives more fun and the world more interesting. And at that, they excelled. They really excelled. Rest in peace, gentlemen. And thank you. In the saga that is the nation and people of Iran, the opposition to the Islamic Republic is building overseas and getting more organized. The son of the late Shah, who was deposed in 1979, Reza Pahlavi, he's forming a growing opposition movement aimed at overthrowing the bane of humanity that present-day Iran has become. And this is not wishful thinking either. Iranians from around the world, the diaspora, which number in the millions, now they have money and resources, and many of them want to go home. The real critical thing I've learned from some in that community is that the people who make up the resistance to the Islamic Republic know full well that they can't depend on other countries for help, especially the United States. And that realistic approach could lead them to victory. This will be an interesting conflict to watch and to root for. Now, I'm going to leave you with some rather sobering thoughts pertaining to what those of you know of as one of my pet peeves, or rather pet terrors, and that is artificial intelligence, AI. All the predictions as to how fast it's advancing and developing are proving to be grossly underestimated. And it's not something years away, it's here now. And the economic impact will be more and more detrimental to we mere mortals as the ramifications of machine thinking continue to be felt. Has anyone looked at YouTube lately? The massive number of material that is being produced by AI? Everything from documentaries to music videos, the latter of which are getting harder and harder to spot as being completely artificial. The same goes for novels, screenplays, commercial art. And it's now being extended to complete motion pictures, yes. We're now at the stage where you can come up with a complete screenplay and script submit it to a computer, and out pops a motion picture. No humans involved on either side of a non-existent camera. Add to that other services such as call centers or customer service. And I'm not talking about the annoying voicemail trees you get when you call some places. I'm talking about an artificial being on the other end of the phone that will be courteous, polite, knowledgeable, and helpful, but not real, not employed, not someone that goes home at the end of the day to take care of their families. I guess all those people at call centers in Mumbai or Manila will have to find new jobs, as will those that are still in the United States. But that's going to be the case for so many of us in so many different professions. If you add into this mix robotics, it's going to be even more challenging to find work in the coming years. Have you seen robots in supermarkets or other retail stores or just general businesses patrolling the aisles as they clean the floor? There used to be a human being doing that job, sometimes several. White-collar jobs will also quickly be replaced by AI wherever and whenever possible. Accounting, logistics, technical support, even creation of products. If AI can do it better and cheaper, it will. And that will leave more humans looking for work. You might think I'm anti-technology to go on about all this all the time. Well, I'm not. Technology is an important part of our being. Fire is technology. Being able to make a wheel is technology. But humans have to have something to do, some labor to perform, some reason to live. And we are in the process of making all of us redundant and unnecessary. That is not going to make our lives better or our society better. Only less of a reason to have us around. I don't have an answer to this change in the course of human events. Perhaps it will mean that all humans on this planet will forever live a life of ease and worry-free. No need to work, just hang around and enjoy yourself. But I seriously doubt that. In fact, I'd bet against it. AI needs to be reined in totally and completely by whatever authority can be marshaled to limit its use and keep it from completely disrupting life on this planet. And yes, you heard that right. This is a world inhabited and controlled by Homo sapiens sapien. It's a biological entity that has been here for millions of years and has evolved to a fairly high state of development. And introducing an artificial life form aimed at replacing the current biological kind can only lead to one place. And I assure you, it's not paradise. It's still not too late to alter course, but action must be taken quickly and decisively. Because, like patience and tolerance, time itself has limits. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends and share with your enemies. They're going to be victims of AI just like everybody else. I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. My handle there is MICCAMPEN, MICCAMPEN. This podcast originates at Substack. My handle there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember, Clown World, the deep state, and artificial intelligence must be destroyed. Good day.